This is a project I've been working on for over 3 years. And Jason's flown all the way up to the cottage, got a bunch of friends here that were involved in actually tasting this 2 years ago, going through the selection process. We're going to watch a little video, we're going to sample it, and we're going to get what they think about this product. This is the purest tequila, because I'm all about purity, you know, that's what I care about. 0 additives, 6 years before it's pressed. This is nectar from the nipple of Aphrodite, the very best tequila ever made. So let's start this. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason and I work together on Shark Tank. He vets all the deals, but he's also the mega dude for all things Shark Tank and tequila. The guy is the tequila whatever, right? You're like the savant.
Self-declared tequila nerd for like 30 plus years. But I was taught by some incredible people before tequila really became super popular in the US in terms of a trend. It was usually like, you know, drunken college nights, what you would shoot. But this is evolved. The whole industry's evolved so much in the last couple decades. And then this is next level, what we're doing together.
In my experience with O'Leary Wines, which I shamelessly promote whenever I can, we're going to sell 6 million bottles this year in the U.S., pure nectar from the nipple of Aphrodite. So I thought, could I bring Aphrodite's nipple into tequila? And I think I've done that. I've done that. And so Aphrodite and I are very close. You know, I lived in Cyprus for a while, and the left nipple is now tequila. The right nipple is wine. So this is fantastic. We're going to taste it, and I want you all to be, you know, very frank, because some of you here have been with me 2.5 years tasting all of the samples that Jason sent up here during this period. And we went through some really shitty tequila, some very good tequila, and then the moment of the nectar. And this is the nectar in the bottle after all this shit we went through. By the way, tequila is a bitch. Because of the Mexican thing. You can't just make a tequila. You got to get a license. It's really a tough deal, right?
It is quite a journey to do it. But we knew it was going to be hard. But we also knew we've got to do something spectacular, because there are some good tequilas out there. And there are also some ones that not so good. And we wanted to make sure that this was going to be something that truly stood apart in the market, in the industry, and on your palate, so that you may end up loving this forever, as opposed to it being just a distant memory and some... Aphrodite dreams.
I think we've really raised the bar. It ain't cheap, but nothing good is. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Cheers to that.
So, so Jason, let's get everybody sampling. What we want to do is kind of shoot I want to just get a couple of comments about what you think about it. Most people, I think, have gone to the Rosa, which is interesting, which I prefer actually. But Blanco, Jason, tell us why Blanco matters, why we even brought one forward, and how the Rosa was made.
Well, first, when we were talking about what kind of tequila, what like expression to start with, it only makes sense really to start with a Blanco, because it's the purest product. Like, tequila was intended to be consumed right out of the still after its second distillation and not barreled. So this is hundreds of years ago, and kind of fast forward to the Old West and Europeans coming over to the United States, and barreling was a thing. They're having to barrel their scotch to make it palatable. And now we all love an aged scotch, of course. But if you drank scotch white right out of the still, it would knock your face off. Like, you'd call it moonshine. I think that's what they would call it in the US when it was made that way. So starting and making a really exceptional Blanco means that every other aged expression of this is going to have an origin story that's totally pure. We're not taking a product that was like, wow, that's edgy, we better stick it in a barrel. I'm not bagging on scotch by any means, but just you take a product that is not great as a Blanco and you age it, you could soften it up to make it palatable. But you start with incredibly pure high-end Blanco, and that's the side of the market that we wanted to attack first, because this is what's missing the most in the market, is a really pure Blanco. So we're starting with that. It happens to be overproof because there's no water added after distillation to dilute it down to like 40% or 80 proof. That's why it's an overproof product. If you want to add water or ice, do it at home. We wouldn't want to ship water all around the world. We want that to be your preference, as opposed to a preference that's chosen for you. So in kind of the spirit of purity and additive-free tequila, there's also no additional dilution after it's distilled. So this is 3 ingredients. This is 91.2. So, you know, it's got a little bit of a kick. But this is 3 ingredients to make this. This is crushed agave. The water gets the juices out of the agave. That's the second ingredient, water. And baker's yeast from the town of Amatitán, from the bakery that's been there for a very long time. But just the 3 ingredients: agave, after 6 years of growth or more, water, and baker's yeast. So that's the Blanco. And you age the Blanco, touch it in a Cabernet barrel, which gives it the pinkish hue, and then age it in French white oak for the remaining 4 to 5 months, and you get this very unique Rosa-Reposado. So this is legally 4 to 5. That's it. That's it. Now, when we do a añejo, it'll probably be a year and a half, and the extra añejo may be many, many years, but it's going to take us a little while to get there. But again, the origin story is it's starting as this pure product, which is a lot of fun.
There you have it. So let's get some comments. You're all trying it.
Got a little toast.
And, I'm very interested in Janice because she actually tasted 4 different iterations of this stuff. And she was...
No, I'm not an alcoholic.
No, she was not friendly in the beginning. Remember, you went through 6 different things? You're nasty, Janice. Nasty. But you finally... This is what you chose, by the way. This is the one you chose. Okay.
Very good.
The way you...
I like it. It has a very sophisticated flavor, which is, it's not smoky, but you can tell that it's aged very delicately, and I love that.
Very smooth, refreshing, easy.
I love it. The nectar. Oh my God, it's excellent.
But of course it is. It's nectar from the nipple of Aphrodite.
Agave
The
barrel.
white nipple is
No, it could be in any...
Janice, let's try it.
I give you enough space.
Ready? Let's go.
These are the cheese. The whole thing.
The whole thing. Take the shot.
Baby.
Sure, Janice.
Okay, let's taste. Everybody's talking. Everybody's waiting.
Slowly, right? One more taste.
Oh.
Okay, this is what I remember from last time I had this. This is just wonderful.
Very tough to pass the Janice test. Very tough. Very tough. That's fantastic. And here's my honey bunny, Linda. What do you think?
Well, I'm having it on ice, which is also delicious and doesn't.
Yeah,
ruin its
absolutely.
flavor.
We have lots.
It's beautiful.
That's great.
Right?
There you have it. So you can have it on ice, but always make sure you're wearing something appropriate. When you drink this marvelous, marvelous tequila, wear something appropriate. Be a fashionista. Cheers. Cheers. Live wonderfully.